everybody. I saw everyone in the chat. Welcome to Shauna and
Taz.
Yay! Oh, it's so good to see you because I didn't get to see you last week because of the bloody cyclone.
I
And
know.
I feel like I haven't seen you for ages. I haven't had my Taz fix. So this is fantastic.
It missed you,
Hello,
didn't it?
everybody. Well, we get a few comments up. Just to
hello.
say g'day. This is from Ali. Hi from Paris, France. Oh, such a delight to see you too. You have such a healthy, intelligent, happy view on Meghan. Oh, well, that's nice, isn't it? Because sometimes you can feel a little bitchy, so it's
intelligent.
Nice.
I like that. We'll stick with that one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Ellie. You've made our night. Okay, the first thing I want to kick off with is one of the real royals, one of the most beautiful royals, and it's our favourite, Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Indeed. I've just got a few of the front pages of newspapers, so let's bring that up and just have a little look. So she made the Daily Telegraph, the Daily Express, the Times and the Sun. And the interesting thing to me, Taz, is the headlines weren't about her, obviously, but her photo made every front page, and that makes me think she has so much impact. What other royal would appear on the front page on every newspaper?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, the fact that there's no headlines to draw people in. It's just simply a beautiful picture of Catherine, of which there are always an abundance of. And that's enough, She just, I think she just looked absolutely gorgeous as well, didn't she? I mean, but it's one way to sell the newspapers, isn't it? She doesn't need
it is. It's to sell the newspapers. But I can't think of, I guess even the Queen wouldn't be on the front page of every newspaper.
There were certain big events, but it generally depended on what the event was. We sometimes get Prince William as well, but he tends to be on a couple. But Catherine, she definitely seems to be across all of them. There is a blanket, you walk in and in the newsstands, and in this particular, because she was wearing red, it was like a sea of red. And the fact that she doesn't have to have her titles everywhere. Everybody knows who she is. Everybody likes her.
Yeah, exactly. And I love the joy in it. My favourite one was when they were giggling when they were in their seats waiting for the service to start, and they were so gorgeous. I mean, they were gorgeous. And what I noticed too was that everyone around them was happy. Yeah. They have that impact on people. People around them were smiling.
It's an energy. That they give off.
Yeah.
And with
Meghan and Harry, it's all hunted. Everyone's hunted.
Yeah, I guess they have to watch themselves because Harry and Meghan were wearing microphones at a few of the events, weren't they? Especially towards the end. And I don't know. I mean, I suppose everybody's just scared that they were going to offend them. But Catherine and William, there is something different about them. I guess the scare that they probably went through with Catherine's health last year, they just seem to be, as I said, it's an energy. They're not all over each other like what Harry and Meghan do, where it's trying to prove to the world that they're in love. These two just have to glance at each other with the distance between them. I saw one picture where there was a bishop in between them, and they were just looking at each other. And they didn't need to hold hands. They didn't need to paw at each other. You just saw it radiating between them. And it was just beautiful. It really is.
Yeah. I want my husband to look like that at me again.
Oh, me too. Not your husband, my husband. That'd be weird. A bit weird.
Well, I mean, he does sometimes, but, not as much as William does with Catherine. All right.
Yeah,
the numbers are in. Yeah, the numbers are in for Meghan's show, and they're really quite shocking because what it's proven is that she's not even half as popular without Harry. She's only quarter as popular.
Oh, wow.
The numbers are really bad. I'll bring them up and show you. So this is the headline, Daily Telegraph, that they're in. Now, she slipped out of the top 10 after the first 5 days. She's only in the top 3 in a very small European countries. But this is how it's sort of verified. New figures appear to suggest that viewers prefer seeing the Duchess of Sussex on screen with her husband, Prince Harry, rather than solo. Now, here's the numbers. So it pulled 526,000 US households in the first 5 days, which is extraordinarily low for a Netflix show. It is really bad. Now, this is an independent data analytics firm, okay, so it's not someone with any skin in the game. Now, their original Meghan and Harry doco drew 2.1 million in the same number of days when it was
Yeah,
shown.
I mean
So
that was
that is
huge.
really telling, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know, I haven't looked at any of these numbers yet, so this is all news to me because they're really trying to push it. A lot of the outlets, especially on social media, you're seeing a selected favourable outlets saying about how it's a huge success. Meghan's celebrating, Meghan's overjoyed. This surely must mean that they're going to be renewed and season two, and they're trying to push all of that. And as we know, season two,
Yeah.
there is no season two. It was filmed in 16 parts, and they're releasing it in 2 segments.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is, even with people bearing in mind the number of people what they call hate watching or people watching it to take the piss.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
That is incredibly low. And when I think that TikTok, I'm not on TikTok because I just can't handle any more social media, but
Yeah.
I'm seeing clips coming up all the time. Hundreds, thousands, if not thousands of people are taking the mickey out of this show on their own Instagram, blogs, TikTok,
Yeah.
even Facebook and stuff. So I find that's still shocking when you think the majority of people are watching it just to take the piss out of it.
Yeah,
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 that's
and it's
bad.
extraordinary because they were hoping she needed to be in the top three in the USA for Netflix to consider it to be,
Success.
okay, to
Did
be
she make
what they
it?
would expect. She never got there in the USA. Never got in the top three, which is just shocking for the amount of outlay that they've done in this show. I was going to show you something else. Meghan's latest project proved to be most successful among viewers aged 45 to 54, which
Her
is
age group.
so hilarious because she wants her demographic to be early 20s to late
Well, at
30s.
least she's attracting her own generation, you know?
Oh, ouch. Oh.
Just saying. It's sorry, I've got to get that in because I have people like her fan base target me all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're just a middle-aged blah 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 blah," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm actually a couple of years younger than your idol." And whenever they talk about Meghan and Harry in the newspapers, the young couple, the young newlyweds, the young this, and I'm like, they are middle-aged. I mean,
Yeah.
Meghan especially,
Yeah.
she is in
Yeah.
that demographic. I find that
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, I just thought that was hilarious. That just made my day because I just
Yeah.
know how much she would hate it. She would
Oh
really
yeah.
hate that. Yeah, she
She's so
would. It would just
desperate, isn't she? She's so desperate to appeal to the younger generation. That's why she did the Billie Eilish with that young girl, that she did the Altadena girls. She is definitely trying to push herself out there to be, and she's just not going to. It's not. It's like me trying to appeal to the younger generation. They're not interested. My main demographic that people watch me is 40 and above, I believe. I do
yeah,
get a
yeah,
few people, but yeah, Meghan,
yeah.
she's not going to tap that audience at all. She's not going to
I've got
happen.
a very, very talented nephew who does the live streams and everything. And I said to him, "Oh, maybe I could help you a little bit." And he goes, "Oh, thanks a lot, Auntie Sean, but I think you might actually damage me."
They're
Well,
brutal, aren't they? Kids are brutal. Thanks, thanks for
yeah.
that bit of honesty.
Yeah, but I think he was right. I think he was right. So I'm going to bring up a few comments. We don't know what's funny, so that wasn't very good. Sorry, it's really hard because I don't have time to read them before I click on them. Diana Phillips, greetings from Melbourne, Australia. Happy days to see you both. Yes, Tash, they are not such a young couple.
They're not.
No.
They're not.
No, that's exactly right. Belinda Butler, 45 to 54 is probably the average age of Royal Rota journos.
Yeah, yeah. It's true. It's true.
Yes.
There's not
Yeah.
many young people. I can only think of one. He's fairly new at doing it, and he's on GB News. Callum Walker, I think it is. And yeah,
Yes,
he's just
he's
a young
young.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yes, Barbara Martin's talking about the chef that got death threats. I've got that coming up, Barbara. Don't get ahead of us. Don't get ahead of us.
Yeah.
We've got that coming up. We're going to discuss that for sure. Now,
Okay.
I just want to give us our heartthrob moment because Prince William's going to go over to visit the troops in Estonia. And, I just thought we'd give everyone a moment. Will we just be silent, have a minute's silence and sigh? I tell you what, Nothing better happened to him on the battlefield. Prince William will travel to Estonia next week. He's not going on the battlefield to meet with British troops deployed as part of NATO's deterrent against potential Russian aggression. So, not a hair on his head can be harmed. he is our heartthrob. Can
Oh,
you
Prince William
imagine?
in
Oh,
uniform.
it'd be
Ooh.
so good. It'd be so good. I'd love to see it in person. I really, really would.
Mm.
Just a bit of trivia
Oh,
because, it's a bit of light trivia doesn't hurt. The Duke and Duchess of Westminster, who are a fave of mine, are expecting first child, and Prince William may be godfather.
that's so sweet. I'm very happy for them. I watched their
Yeah.
wedding actually. It was beautiful. I watched them coming and going to the church. Incredibly,
Yeah.
it was just that was a real fairy tale story again. And yet the newspapers and Harry and Meghan still managed to insert themselves and get themselves in the headline. Is Harry and Meghan going to go? And they used to be friends. And I just thought that was just butt out for a change. Stop trying to insert those two into everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, their wedding was stunning. And I love what they did for the whole the town. There was lots of money spent on doing up
Yes.
flowers and just
And
making
ice
the
cream
whole
trucks and everything for
yeah,
everybody. It was
really
gorgeous.
special,
Yeah. And I loved the arch outside the church. And I loved the fact that
breathtaking.
the bride was so cool. Like the
Her
wind
blue
was
shoes.
really bad. The wind was
Did,
bad.
oh, it
But she
was.
wasn't precious about it at
No,
all,
she
was it?
wasn't.
Was she? She was just
No.
so stunning. Yeah, I
And
loved
her
her.
blue, did you see her blue shoes? I wasn't
Yes.
sure on them at first, but I love that touch to it now that you look back at, the wedding photos with her something blue. That's kind of, yeah, just
Yeah.
different and just, yeah,
Yeah.
really special day.
She seems fun. She seems
She
really
does.
fun. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you actually drew my attention to this originally. Taz was the one who first picked this up. But since then, about, 4 days after Taz, People magazines picked it up. I think they stalk your feed. I'm telling you, I think they
They stalk
do.
all of us. They
Yeah,
stalk all of
yeah,
us.
I
They
think
do.
they
Maybe
do.
yeah.
But this was definitely broken by Taz. Prince William makes self-depreciating joke about his hair as he compliments well wishes fantastic look. Now this was such a beautiful story, and this is what he said: "Look at your hair, it's fantastic." William told the well wisher, who wore her locks in a close crop. But I'll let Taz tell you the story about him helping her with the selfie because it's gorgeous.
Oh, this was so sweet. He literally he posed for the selfies like he normally does, and she was taking it with him behind her over her shoulder. And then he saw that she didn't actually take it. So he told her and got her to check her phone, and she's like, "Oh no, I didn't do it." And he took his time and he showed her how to do it. And I just thought he's got so many people around him. He's a busy man. He does work to tight deadlines, and many other people would have walked off, celebrities and famous people. And the fact that he was like, "Oh, you don't have that, that's not safe, check it, oh, I'll post for you again," that just
Yeah,
showed a side to him that was just really, really special. He was treating her as a human being rather than a prop. And it was the fact that he
yeah,
knew that how devastated would she have been later
yeah.
on that day if she'd gone to look at her photos and that
Oh,
wasn't what she was seeing,
yeah.
Prince William with his arms around her, and she didn't have it, and
Yes.
he knew that. Just
Yeah.
love him, love him,
Yeah,
love
he's
him.
lovely. He's got a good heart. He's got a good heart. I thought we would do something fun with all of you guys as well as Taz, because what I've got a photograph of each episode of Megan's show. Now, some of you may have seen it, or some of you may have seen lots of clips on YouTube and stuff, so you have a fair idea. So I'm going to bring it up. And Taz is going to tell us the biggest moment she remembers from that episode. I'm going to say
Oh
mine,
no,
and we're going to go through
can
each
I
one,
swear?
just one each. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. But okay, here we
Yeah.
go. Here's
Oh,
the first one. This is actually a bit traumatic to revisit this,
it,
actually.
it
Here
is
we
to
go.
us. Thank you for that.
Hello, honey.
Oh.
You go first,
Okay,
Daniel.
the bit that I remember from this. Okay, Meghan showing what a control freak she is as they make candles, and she tells Daniel that she gives him, like, I think it was like 6 or 7 different oils he can choose from, but then proceeds to tell him exactly what oils to use. That's what I remember from that. I was like, oh yeah, Daniel, take your pick, take your pick. Oh, you should have this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, I bet she's so much fun when she's doing stuff with the kids.
Oh gosh, yeah, control freak. The thing that made me really impacted me was when they went to the beehives with that poor beekeeper, and she went busy bees, and then
Oh,
she looked at the
cringe.
camera like she'd said something really witty, and then she said,
Oh,
"We've been
go.
doing this for over a year, but I need you. I'm still scared," and it just was like, ugh.
What was it she said? It was, oh yeah, she's been doing it for over a year. How long do bees live for?
You
Really,
could just
Megan?
tell she hadn't been to the hives for a year.
She doesn't
You
have
could just,
hives. She doesn't have
yeah,
hives, apart from the ones probably coming up when she looks at those ratings.
yeah.
Oh,
Because the beekeeper was a nice soul, and he looked
it
like he was
was.
really uncomfortable with the lying. He
Mm.
looked really, really uncomfortable. Okay, welcome to the party, Mindy Kaling. Your turn.
Oh, this is such an obvious one that comes to my mind on this one, where, it was talking about that she's Sussex now. So I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to talk about the fact that she almost mum shames Mindy by talking to her about holding children's parties. Do you go all out for your children? And Mindy's like, well, the woman that, I hire to does it. And the way Meghan talks to her throughout the episode, like, well, you can do this now, Mindy, because it's so easy to do. And I thought, she's already, taken the mickey out of her with the La Crusette or La Crusade, I don't know how you say it, that really expensive pan. And
Yeah.
then the Sussex, and then that. And I was just like, I'm not surprised that we haven't seen Mindy hanging out with her new best friend, Meghan, for some time, because I thought she was rude to her quite a
I
lot
thought
of
she
the
was rude
time.
too. You know, the thing that's really stuck out for me with this episode was the half-assed balloon arch. I thought it was so bad. It was only half. And she defensively said, "Oh, well, I left a gap for the tree," but it was just she got bored. She
She
got sick of
cannot,
it. It only went halfway up, and it was so many
yeah.
gaps, so many
She can't
gaps.
laugh at herself. She cannot laugh at herself. And it's one of the things that if she's trying to show her real personality here, why not just laugh at yourself and just go, do you know what, actually, fair point, it does look a bit shit, actually.
Yeah,
Just be human, be normal.
yeah, yeah. I would have said, "Oh, you know what, Mindy? Looking at my balloon arch, I can see why you hire someone to do your parties.
Something, just be
Yeah,
like a
just have a
normal.
joke." Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And one last thing I want to ask you, don't you think it's weird that they prepared a children's party and there's no children? Like, don't you think they would have gone at least to a children's charity and invited them for a party at the end or something?
To be
It was,
fair, I'm honestly not surprised. I brought this up, but when Meghan did all the flower arranging for her baby shower in New York, she got all of the flowers when her friends were done to them, taken to a hospital, and got lots of sick people and mostly sick children to pose with the flowers. And you can see it was forced and it was pain for those to be released to the media, right? And it's always disgusted me. And I'm so surprised that she didn't do something like that on this. And who knows, maybe she did do something like this.
oh,
You know, can
oh.
everybody just look how grateful they are that I did this?
Oh,
But maybe
oh, well, you're
Netflix.
bringing up a really good point there because you're
Mm.
basically saying she's damned if she does, she damned if she doesn't, she can't win. But there could be a good way to do it, surely.
They
There
could
could be a good way to
just
do it.
just donate. Don't make people thank you for doing something. Don't go there and
Right.
pose for photographs. Don't send in the photographer. Don't, make it a thing. Just do something nice and don't tell the world about it.
Yes, yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, two kids from LA, Roy Choi. What did you think? I actually didn't mind this episode because I liked him. I liked
Ah,
him.
exactly this. I liked him. He's really watchable. I would watch him if he had his own cooking show.
Yeah,
Um, there was, yeah, it was the way she looked at him when he said that he likes, listening to, I think it was like death metal or really heavy metal music. She's like,
yeah,
no, you don't. And just the look on her face, and no, you don't, screwing her face up, like she doesn't hide her disgust at it, going, no, you don't. Well, that doesn't sound like the joy of Choi or Joy
yeah,
of
it
Joy.
was sharp.
Some crap. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, you're literally laying into him over his music choice, but it was done in such a way that it was that mean girl thing going, well, that doesn't sound like the image that you try and portray, does it? Oh, you listen to that. And I thought
yeah,
he came back with a quip though, because he said,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I like to listen to it when I'm butchering. And I thought,
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that, yes, I put that down too, so snap, but
Oh
I knew
no.
you'd say that, so I've got another one just in case you said that. The other one was when they were making the tempura batter and he gave her some chopsticks to mix up the tempura batter, and she did it in such an insipid way. She was just like mixing the very top of the flour so it wasn't mixing in, and I felt like just reaching through the TV screen and grabbing them and going, give me that, because she's so insipid. And when she sprinkles stuff, she's so insipid.
I know it is. That's the perfect
Oh,
word. Yeah.
yeah. Drives me mad,
Yeah.
drives me mad. Okay, next one. Then I'm going to get some of you guys. I want to see what you say. So make sure you comment now on this episode or the last one because we're a bit of a delay. Love is in the details, Delphina.
Oh God, there's so much on this one. There's so much on this one. Right, okay, just narrow it down to one. The one with Delphina. It was the praise for Meghan over Meghan speaking Spanish. And Meghan comes out with a very basic, we're talking Duolingo. This is one of the first sentences you put together, like, oh, where are you from? Where are you going? And if your friend's talking to you saying your Spanish was so good, and the fact you said it with an Argentinian accent, I was just so amazed. And Megan's like, yes, where are you from? Where is the museum? I would like a taxi, please. And Delphina's like, oh, where, Megan, amazing, honestly. And the same thing happened on polo when the Argentinian player tried to speak to Megan. She said a couple of lines, and then she's like looking at Harry. And I was just like, stop telling people that you are fluent in these languages, because the only thing you're fluent in is bullshit.
Yes, I agree. I picked up a gotcha moment. Now, you've got to go back and watch this because you'll see what I mean, okay? So they're doing some cooking together, and the producer says, have you cooked together before? And there was this shock, freaked out look on Megan's face. She sort of stumbled something. Delphina looked like caught in headlights, didn't know what to say. What lie should I tell next? And then Megan sort of jumbled and she goes, oh, yes, 2 years ago when Harry was doing polo with Nacho, you came over and we grilled heaps of meat, remember? And Delphina goes, yeah. And I'm thinking, 2 years ago?
Wow.
This is the best friend. 2 years ago, that was all she could come up with.
Yeah.
Gosh, big gap between, social events.
You can see Pinocchio.
Oh, I've got a comment from Koala Blues. Sorry to pick Koala Blues again, but I think this is a good point. Good grief, everything was scripted. I think she's telling us off, Taz. And I think Roy Choi, when asked about the music, might have had to mention, Billie Eilish or Beyonce or someone. Oh,
Plot
you were
twist.
so clever. Hence the dagger looks when he said dead metal. Koala Blues, that is brilliant.
That would be good. That would be a massive plot twist, wouldn't it? I like to think that now, actually. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it was him being passive-aggressive, saying, I'm not going to be marching to the beat of your drummers, lady.
Yes, well, that's why I liked him. Yeah, that's why I liked him. He seemed the real deal, didn't he? He seemed very genuine.
That episode was salvageable.
Yes, I agree.
Gosh.
I agree, yeah. Surprise and delight, ladies' lunch. You know what? You go first. Let's see if we got the same one.
Well, I called them like the Witches of Eastwick. It reminds me of that scene when they're all getting drunk, talking about Jack Nicholson. It's just, oh God, okay, right. Let me think. It's the dolly. It was the dolly, and this was the cringe factor. They're all sitting outside having their the ladies' lunch that they've prepared, and Megan's like, I've got the funniest, the sweetest story to tell you guys. Lily came outside, and she's got a dolly, and she's called her. Wait for it, and there was a dramatic pause, and Abby and Kelly are just like, oh, yes. She's called Stella Alfresco. And Abby says, oh, because she only eats outside. And I was like, I'm going to kill myself. I can't watch anymore of this.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, that was bad. I got the impression, now I don't know whether I'm just really reading everything into things now, but I got the impression that Abigail and Kelly were actually real friends. and they teamed up to protect themselves against the evil Meghan, and so they couldn't be too exposed.
There
And
were a couple of glances between them I saw in that episode where it
yeah,
was like,
yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, even when they drink, they don't loosen up. I mean,
no,
I think Kelly McKee would, but the producer was almost desperate. Like, come on, drink champagne. Come on, let's
relax.
get something happening. Some few giggles, something happening. Still not. Nothing.
Nothing,
Nothing.
nothing,
Megan
no.
never loosens up.
She doesn't. She doesn't. It was, I remember, what was it, The Craft? Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Meghan was definitely stiff as a board throughout that entire episode. There was no natural kind of banter. The one thing that was possibly funny, which was a relaxed moment, was with the salt, because Abby thought that they were making fish with that salt. And there was a genuine laugh between Kelly and Abby. But
Yeah.
Meghan still didn't quite, gosh, she's tight as a
No,
nut.
she's so tight. She's so tight. It makes you wince just looking at her. It's bad. It's bad. And I couldn't believe the amount of alcohol throughout the whole show, and it never loosened her
Breakfast,
up.
lunch, dinner. Yeah, she's got a mimosa, a cocktail, tequila, you name it, beer. She was.
Yeah, and she was pushing it on Roy Choi because he said, "Oh, I blush really badly when I drink alcohol," and she said, "It's fine. You'll be fine." Yeah.
Even Alice Waters, she pushed Alice into sort of like, oh, and Alice is like, oh, I'm not sure I really should, but go on then.
Yeah. I wouldn't have any trouble saying yes, but she just wouldn't be
No,
very fun to have a champagne with. The juice is worth the squeeze. Now, this guy, I thought he was very interesting, but I just think he didn't want to be there anymore. I just really got the feeling.
I got the exact same vibes actually from him. Very talented, but I think maybe he was struggling with the fakeness of the show, because I have been reading, and of course you've got to take a lot of this with a pinch of salt, but a lot of people were saying it was cut and heavily edited. Like, they get people to prep all the food for Meghan. The only thing that she'd care about is hair and makeup, and she'd disappear and come back on. Now, if you're a professional chef and you're there and you're trying to teach, I can understand why they all had that sort of frustration throughout. And it would make sense why Meghan didn't have a hair out of place. She didn't even have a speck of flour on her at any time, a bit of sauce. There was no splashback, apart from this one stage bit where the lemon juice squirted. And she's like, that woke us all up, didn't it? And I just thought, I've seen that on a Selena Gomez cooking show, because it got compared, because the runners for this show worked on the same show, and it's just fake. Even lemon squirting in her face just seems fake.
Yeah. I was waiting for that Julia Roberts moment where, something go flying across and she goes, slippery little sucker, like the...
I love that film, The Snail, wasn't it? The Snail.
So do I. Elevating the everyday. Now, what do you think about Vicky? I find her a bit gushy. You love her?
Oh, no, I
find her a bit gushy, but is that just because she's with Meghan?
I really liked her. I was actually genuinely fascinated when she started talking about the Japanese skincare stuff. I've actually been looking up Japanese skincare since
she's got beautiful skin.
She was talking about, out in Japan and stuff. And I was thinking, I could do with some of that. No, I really liked her. And I liked the story that she was telling about, like, the food. But it was... the bit I take from this, the bit I remember, is when Meghan prepares the coffee and she gives Vicky the coffee at the very beginning, and Meghan's done this throughout because you have to heavily praise Meghan. And she gives Vicky the coffee, and Vicky holds the coffee, and everybody's now looking at her, including Meghan, and they do a screen of Meghan going, so do you like it?
Yes.
And I was like, if the coffee tastes like crap, what's Vicky going to do in this moment in time? If it tastes disgusting, or it's too hot, or it's too cold, and it was Meghan. Do you like it, Vicky? And then she got a basket afterwards because she praised Meghan about the coffee was the most amazing coffee that she'd ever had. And I was
Yeah, well, I think that was the Harvest Basket episode, which was so painful when she clipped the lemons off the tree and she said, I like to leave some leaves on the lemons just to make them look nice in the basket. And it's like, well, who doesn't? I won't say it.
I know. I know. Oh, you're
Oh,
making. I'm
she's
having a
just
little bit of
awful. She's just
reminding me.
awful.
It was
Oh, one thing I
painful.
forgot about the episode before about the, with the guy, the chef that didn't want to be there, was the mahjong when she picked up the tile and they all praised her for being so brave and amazing and wonderful for picking up that tile.
Yeah, yeah. And then she
Anyway,
told the
last one.
story. She
We'll put
told
you
the
out of your
story.
misery soon, guys.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
one. I
She
love
makes
Alice
everything better.
Waters. Love Alice Waters, but
I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who she was. I hadn't heard of her, in all honesty. I now know who she was because I googled her. But
yeah.
go on, you tell me. Go for a change. You tell me what bit you took from this first.
Well, I've made notes here. I said something nice about Alice Walker. That's the impact she had on me. I didn't know who she was either. I just fell in love with her in this episode because she had such a calm sort of demeanor where she was completely isolated from Meghan. She just kept her peace. And one thing I thought she said, Alice Walker said, we need to plant where we can. Because Meghan was showing off and saying, well, not everybody has a garden like mine. So, it's so good what you say about urban planting. Someone could be in a tiny little apartment and they can still have, something growing. And then Alice Walker says, we need to plant where we can. And I thought it was sort of like a slap on the nose, but done in a really nice
rolled
way.
Rolled up newspaper, bad puppy. I liked her. I looked her up afterwards because before I could really review the episode to get an idea of what was going on. And when I watched her in the episode, she came across like I could cook with her. She was like cooking with your grandma. She was very lovely. She had a lovely voice, and her life story is genuinely fascinating, starting the whole farm to table movement. Yes. But it was Meghan straight away, the moment that Alice starts talking about something, like Meghan's like, so I've got a story for you. When I was a little girl, I grew up, we didn't have anything. I was so poor. I had to work in a donut shop when I was 13. I had to, we ate junk food, we ate this. And it's like, that she's lying, because I've obviously been talking about Meghan for so long. I've read the stories. I've even watched interviews of Meghan praising how she grew up, the lovely restaurants her dad used to take her to. So she knows that she's lying, and everybody at this point knows she's lying. So I was just like,
you just switch out at this point. Lying. Naomi Chisholm has said a really good comment. She doesn't ask any info of her guests. No. Yeah, that's pretty basic, isn't it, Naomi? I mean, if you're going to do a show like that, you should be asking them lots and lots and lots of questions. But she just talks at people.
It's exactly the same as she did on Archetypes. She had people that were on there that could have been really interesting, and the exact same thing happened. The moment that they started talking about a little bit about themselves, Meghan comes in swiftly with another anecdote. And it's all to do with some hardship that she's been through, some awful thing that she's experienced. And it's just like, just stop, please. Just stop, please.
Just take a breath.
Just
appreciate
every luxury that you've had throughout your life,
Yeah. It's just crazy. It's baffling, really. Ali Anderson, I just have to, hey, Rachel Meghan half-assed balloon arch. That's a good new name. Hey, Rachel Meghan half-assed balloon arch. I want one of those blowy uppy things. They were pretty cool. Have you got one of those?
I don't blow up many balloons, and if I do, I
don't really either. I'm sort of past my party days. My boys are too big. Yeah. Yes, you're correct, Laura. Definitely, Meghan's show doesn't ever see. It's really puppy. Can you imagine being the crew? Because they really filmed 16 in a row. Yeah. Can you imagine being the crew?
They're probably in long-term therapy.
Oh, they would.
Yeah.
And I wonder who the next lot of guests are. I mean,
I've got guesses. I've already said I believe Serena's going to make an appearance because she's been showing off Serena again lately. They went out for a cat stroll, and then they had the video clip with Lily looking scared playing that candy game. And then you had that, and then I also think we're going to have Gloria Steinem, because Meghan was, photographed with Gloria Steinem recently. She was at Gloria Steinem's house, and I believe that's where the card. Do you remember? Gloria Steinem had an interview for a magazine, and we saw the Archie Lilly card that was magically positioned. Now I think that's all to do with linking them up and Gloria Steinem will appear. But again, Gloria Steinem is a very interesting woman, but that she's not going to appeal to a younger generation watching that.
You're
Most people
such a good detective. You're such a good detective. But
my
Gloria Steinem would look so wrong in the kitchen because it just goes against everything that she's ever done.
Quite.
I mean,
Quite.
it's wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
We've got a few more good comments. This is from Takeaway Renee. I love that handle. That dagger look was the real Meghan. Oh, yeah. I don't think you could act that. Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. Yeah. Oh, this is good. This is a good comment. Alison, where was Ashley?
Yeah.
Did the royal family say she couldn't take part? Oh, Alison, that is such a good slap.
She served her purpose. She was there to show that she does have family members that speak to her. That's why Ashley was suddenly roped in for the Netflix show. And, she's been there with a couple of pictures, but you don't see really Ashley going out to lunch with her auntie anymore, do you? And another person, she didn't do it with Doria, did she? Her mother, you think you'd have your mother on your cooking show? No.
You would.
No, maybe she's saving her mum for season 2, but I can't imagine, part 2, but I can't imagine that Meghan would want to share the camera with her mother, given how jealous that she gets when Doria dares to open her mouth. We've seen
Well, actually, it was quite cold, wasn't it, when Doria arrived for that final party in episode 8? And that was quite cold. She was just like...
Mum was at the back.
Yeah.
Mum was at the back with the husband. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then a few cutesy shots of Harry going, I'm so proud of you, darling. And it didn't... No, she didn't. I would
have gone up to my mum, run over to her and hugged her and brought her into the party. But she was just like, it was so cold. It was so cold.
Thanks for reminding everybody I'm biracial, Mum. Cheers.
Exactly. I love how vegan Meg can complain about eggs in the wedding cake and then barbecue meat en masse. You've got such a good point, because she put the Queen's chefs through hell. The Queen was, so embarrassed and dismayed because I could taste egg in this. I know there's egg in this.
Can you imagine? I know. I thought that as soon as she started on about, her eggs. Oh, that was another one with Alice Waters when she cracks the egg. Meghan's like, oh, look, I've cracked an egg, Alice. And Alice is like, oh my God, that's the most amazing egg yolk I've ever seen. And I'm like, Alice, come on, Alice. We know you're lying, Alice. You've been doing this for a career since you were in your 20s, from farm to fresh movement, before chemicals were even put in chicken feed. And you're telling me you've never seen a yolk like Meghan Markle's egg yolk.
I think, you know what? I think Guess was stood in a certain spot. That's why she never offered them a seat. I think they were in a certain spot, and if they didn't say the right thing, a trapdoor opened up and they went.
Yeah.
So they're really careful because they didn't want the trapdoor to open.
Isn't this amazing? How's your coffee, Vicky?
Yeah. The thing was, though, that everyone pointed out that every guest that came supposedly to her house, they were never offered a seat.
Weird, right?
They were standing around for the whole day.
I mean, it's not like she didn't have a great big kitchen island that you'd have seats around. You just I'm a kitchen person. I have always been a kitchen person. I flock to the kitchen. If I'm around my friend's house, we stay in the kitchen. So many of us are like that. But even Alice, Alice, would you like a seat? No, anybody?
No one got a seat. Even if it was in the way of the cameras, you could have just put it up the other end or something. Like it was weird.
Even Delphina, she got a rug put down in the garden, didn't she, alongside the dog?
Yeah. Fabulous Newt. With Delphina, it was the "you're so tall" comment. I'm tall and thin. The amount of times I would love to clap back, while you're short and fat, but for some reason it's not acceptable. Yeah.
It was, because I found that comment funny when she did that, because it's like, this is your friend. Why? It's almost like, oh, look at her. Look how tall she is. It's almost like putting Delphina in an uncomfortable position in a way, if you get what I mean. Because she's
I do.
And she says, yes, I am tall. Why is this a conversation point? All of the Netflix crew now staring at her. Oh, yes, you are tall. She is tall. She is tall, isn't she? It was just really unnatural thing to say to your friends, wasn't it?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
your
Well, they're not
thoughts.
friends. I mean, they only saw each other 2 years before and cooked a load of meat.
Yeah.
Jameson Stocks is the chef that has been horribly harassed by the Sussex Squad
Yeah.
because, he had the temerity to actually be honest. And he's got death threats
I
because he
know.
was honest about his opinion of Meghan's cooking show.
The
And that's
thing,
been reported in quite a few
yeah.
papers now.
It is horrific because this is, he said, I'm a single dad doing my own thing, and the next minute I'm being given death threats, all because he critiqued the show. This wasn't personal about Meghan, and it's like they don't realise they're supposed to be fans of Meghan. Do they not realise how much they actually damaged Meghan by behaving like that? Because people say, well, Meghan is sending out her flying monkeys. And to be honest with you, the fact that she's never called out the Sussex Squad, and they've done this to reporters, they've done this to YouTubers, they've done this to anybody that ever says anything negative about Meghan, not personal attacks, but maybe things that she's done. And this show, he was clearly just saying from a chef's point of view, this was fake, it was set up, it was clearly obvious that everything was completely contrived, it wasn't natural. I'm glad I didn't take part in it. To give him death threats, what is
Yeah.
wrong with these people? And why do Harry and Meghan never, ever call them out?
Yeah, well, because they're flying monkeys. I think you nailed it, actually. Okay, so I was going to mention this. So this is the article that was actually reported on, but I also wanted to say about the Washington Post. They put up this little cartoon. It was so good. Takeaways from With Love, Megan's finding wonder in every moment. Edible flowers, decanting things into more attractive receptacles with calligraphy labels, and invite a friend over to compliment you as you arrange something. I thought I nailed it. That was their review.
I mean, there's not much more that could be said. I would say that's accurate. You
Yeah.
know, take
Yeah, it
some
was
crisps out of
accurate.
one
It was
bag.
accurate. When you have mates over and you're all in the kitchen, you're having a glass of wine and you're getting
Mm.
something ready, because you've invited them over for dinner, do they sit there complimenting you on how you do everything?
I mean, only when I, stare at them and say, "Do you like my food? Do you like it?" There's the door if you don't. But no,
Yeah,
in general, no.
yeah.
And I think, I mean, my best friend, she's never got over this summer roast that I cook. And every time she's like, "Oh, your summer roast, I love your summer roast." And I'm like, "Oh, shut up." It's it's not natural to have, I don't know. I don't embrace compliments like that because it's like, oh, it's nice. But then to be fair, she insults me 90% of the time. So when she gives me a compliment, I still think she's taking the piss anyway. It's just, she's my friend. Your friends don't blow smoke up your ass all the time. Your friends are rude to you. They're cheeky to you. They might even say, "God, this food's crap. Can we get a takeaway?" That's what
Yeah,
real friends behave like.
yeah,
This is
exactly,
not
exactly.
friends. These are,
Well, it's like my
yeah.
husband and I, we have like a really sort of cheeky relationship where we're always sort of affectionately poking at each other most of the time. But when we have guests over, sometimes he'll pay me a really sincere compliment and I just find it embarrassing because it's like it makes me seem like I've sort of sized him up to say, "No, you make sure when I bring out the cake that you
Kicking
say
him
it's the
under the
best cake you've
table.
ever seen." I haven't said anything. And I just
But that's
look at him and I go, "Oh, stop."
but that's because you have humility, because you're a normal human being, because you're, it's ingrained into the majority of people. Whereas Megan's like, "Adore me, worship me. I've just cut a stem off a rose and showed you how to take the thorns off. Praise me, because this is amazing." And
Yeah.
it's just cringeworthy, isn't it?
Did you see the recipes on Netflix on the Tadam, and they've got the botanical ice recipe? Well, you need water. You need an ice tray, water, and edible flowers. That's the
Don't forget,
recipe.
not tap water. No, no,
No,
no. No, you
no.
cannot have tap water. You can have cold boiled water. Yes, yes, you can have that, or you can
I'm
have some very
amazed that
expensive
tap
bottled
water even came out of your mouth, quite frankly. So
disgusting.
now we're going to talk about the big naily thumb stuck in the dough for the thumbprint cookies that, of course, weren't distributed on Drew Barrymore because in the end they got her to make them on camera. But Did you see that thing on Instagram? Did you see it with her cooking with Archie and her
Oh
friends
yeah, I saw that flag
and
up. Yeah.
everybody that makes jam print cookies for other people puts the back of a wooden spoon in them for the hole. Like
Yes.
everybody does that, unless
Yes.
you're just making them with
Everybody
just your
does that.
kids. Everybody does that. And to see that big thumb with the
All
big
of them.
nail sticking into that dough.
Jewelry on
Oh,
fingers, fingernails. And bearing in mind that they were meant to be making them for other people. Like, I mean, I'd probably make them like that for myself and my husband. He doesn't care, my
oh
husband
yeah.
probably
Just
drop
intimate
the ball.
family. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know? Yeah,
But
yeah,
creating anything, making anything to take to the show or whatever, I don't know, you just wear gloves.
yeah.
It's
Of
basic
course.
food
Yeah,
hygiene. I mean, I think even if I was
yeah.
making it for my parents, it's different for me and my husband, but he
Yes,
doesn't need to
yes.
know that. He doesn't care. But even if I
Yeah.
was making stuff for my parents, it's just making sure everything's clean. And
Yeah, I do. If I'm
they
making
all had their
something for
hair
other
in.
people, yeah, you
Yeah,
tie your hair back, you put gloves on, you don't touch it
yeah,
unnecessarily. Yeah, it was just really, really gross. Let's get a few
yeah.
more comments up. I'll just get this one from Blue Slate. So much drinking. Yeah, I gotta say there was.
There
There
was a lot
really
of it.
was.
I'm quite
Yeah.
surprised that she hasn't launched alcohol as part of her as ever range, to be honest with you. But
Y-
it wasn't like she was just drinking a rosé throughout. I mean, it was every type of alcohol. One minute she's drinking tequila, then she's having mimosas, then she's having beer. And then it's just every single episode she incorporated alcohol. And
Yeah.
it was almost like not everybody drinks alcohol. And especially, you're arranging a kids' party, it seems a little bit out of touch. I'm sure,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, I've been
yeah.
to a few kids' parties where mum's been having a couple of glasses of
Yeah.
wine, but generally you're there to keep an eye on the kids. Even as an auntie, I'm not taking
Yeah.
that as a time to sit back and relax, wear a pretty frock. I'm trying to make sure there's not a child running around trying to stab another child with
Yeah.
some gardening shears or something being left lying
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
It's a
exactly,
chaos.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And it was
Yeah.
weird that Daniel was probably her only maybe real drinking buddy sort of friend where she sort of could loosen a little bit, and they didn't have any. They just drank tea.
Yeah, yeah, and I just didn't get the vibe with Daniel and the end scene with them when they're looking at the mountain range, and he just says, it just doesn't look real, it just looks all fake. And he was meaning the scenery with a green screen, and I'm thinking, Daniel, that was a precursor for the entire show. Everything seems
Yeah,
fake, your friendship seems fake.
yeah.
It's just, she didn't even know. I'm going to label his favorite treat of peanuts in case he might be allergic to peanuts. What?
Yeah, yeah,
What?
I know. Yeah. And yeah, it was very much employee and
Yeah,
employer vibe.
yeah.
It was. It
It
was.
was. It just
Oh,
wasn't
Jackie,
natural.
this is a bit of juice. Harry didn't show up to court for his visa motion. I'm not up with this. Did this
Oh no,
happen
I'm not up to
today?
date. I'm not up to
Jackie,
date.
we don't know. You've got one over us. Or we're going to have to
Breaking
look this
news.
up.
Breaking news. Ooh, I know what I'm
Yeah.
doing after I get off this chat. Quick
Did
Google.
he have to show up though, or was that
And
sort of
imagine it's
like
just
a
lawyers at this stage, isn't it? It's just
yeah,
lawyers. Like,
yeah,
we would have heard if the judge had said Harry needs to be there in person, wouldn't we?
yes, yeah? Because we'd be watching with bated breath. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah, oh,
interesting.
that's funny from Jackie. Harry's court dates and visas should be a Netflix series.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
yeah, it'd be
reckon.
like probably better than half the stuff they put
Well,
on
it's nearly
Netflix.
time to go, but I did want to talk to you just very, very quickly about the whole
Me?
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively thing because there's been some developments, and you've probably all heard them anyway, but I thought these were quite interesting. And it was the fact that Blake Lively's lost over 1.2 million
Wow.
Instagram followers. Now, I don't know how many Justin Baldoni's gained, but that's a lot.
Wow, that's damning, isn't it? That is
Yeah,
damning.
yeah. Yeah, and this now Leslie Sloan was was Blake Lively's publicist, and she's applied to be let out of the court case. She doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. But Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Productions and the very rich person who owns, funds that, I can't remember his name. They fought that vigorously in court, and so a decision hasn't been made. So she's still stuck in the case as we stand. They wouldn't let her go. They were quite damning about it. And the other thing I wanted to see was, what do you reckon about Anna Kendrick? Is it sarcasm and they really, they're not friends, but they're cool, or does she really despise Blake Lively?
I would say the latter. I think she's angry with her. I think that she knows that she is an absolute mean girl, but I think she's furious with her because Blake decided to pull this lawsuit
Yeah,
right before they
yeah,
started trying to promote a film. And the fact that, I mean, yeah, with the publicist trying to pull out of it because they didn't think it would go this far. They thought that he was such a nice guy, he was going to roll over and take it and allow them to do what they did. They weren't
yeah.
expecting him to fight back. They weren't expecting him to have been a bit more switched on, to have the evidence that he did. They were not. He has gone from being nice Paul that Ryan took the mickey out of to someone that they really are regretting that they shouldn't have messed with. And I'm here for it. But
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Anna, no, she honestly, I watched a brief bit of her. She can't stand her. I don't think these two will ever work together again after this. I think she's furious with her. I mean, Anna's
Yeah.
actually very talented, and it's
Yeah,
yeah,
she is. She said so. There was the South by Southwest Film Festival where they launched, Simple Favor 2.
yeah.
And so tension, and everyone was speculating on social media and everything. And Blake Lively described her co star as the best. She's the best. And Anna Kendrick, I love her response when E.T. asked Anna a similar question. She refused to get involved in any drama. And she said, oh, before walking away.
I like it. I mean, she's not going to lie. She's not going to lie. She's not going to
Yeah.
get sucked into this, and she's not going to lie. I mean,
Yeah.
she probably
Yeah.
doesn't want to
Did you
get
see
dragged
the
into the
did
court
you
case.
see the ayahuasca, I can never say that, comment? She feigned ignorance. Why? What happened? And then I did ayahuasca in the last year and my life has been gone. Now, obviously a rehearsed line, but it was pretty clever. And then when she turned back over her shoulder and said, but I hear the movie's amazing. She's
Oh, bless her,
so
yeah.
smart. I love her.
She's so done with Blake. That is honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing that I saw, it flagged up not long before I came on this call with you, but it was who is it that I love that I've gone off of? Oh, Hugh Jackman. Hugh
Right.
Jackman.
Yes.
He's being pulled into the court case. He's being pulled into it. Yeah, they're dragging old Hugh into it.
Why?
Because of the whole nice pool thing, that was all done on the set. That was obviously all part of their film Deadpool together, where he was quite clearly ripping Justin Baldoni. So there's bound to have been conversations because it's so obvious that's what nice pool was. And yeah, there might be some stuff. There might be some stuff. And Hugh Jackman's already, it's not just me, apparently, he's already in a bit of a free fall because, nobody likes the cheater. And, showing off the new girlfriend. And I'm sure they'll probably have a child soon as whatever midlife crisis he's going through. The fact that he's being pulled into it, I was like, he's not going to like that very much. And there's rumours that Ryan is not taking the hits to his reputation too well after all. So
You know what?
all is not well.
That nice pool bit, I am shocked that actually got through the final edit. I am shocked.
I didn't know what that was about. Because I watched the film before this all came out. But as soon as it came out in the court paperwork about what Nice Pool was based on and who it was based on, I was like, shit, he really did go to town on him. And now you can see it. And you're like, that was
vicious.
Brilliant.
It's really vicious. And it just doesn't make sense in context of the movie or anything. I know they always have funny, takes at the end and stuff, but it just seemed malicious, didn't it? Yeah. I'll get a few more comments and then we've really got to go. We've run over time this time. Sharon, hi Sharon. Tonight on Google Box they did a segment on the Love Meghan show. Let's say no one had good opinions on it. Oh, that'd be funny to watch.
I love Google Box. It's brilliant. I'll have to watch that. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
That would be worth it. I think that would be a really good laugh. I'll just find one final great comment. I love this. This is takeaway, Renee. If you need a drink, if you're in her kitchen,
to be honest with you, even just watching that show was enough to wanna drink. I did get through it
Yeah.
without any alcohol passing my lips, and
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
think
You needed to deaden your senses as much as you could. Yeah,
I bet
definitely.
Mindy got pissed after that, in more ways than
Oh,
one.
one more bit of juice. Mindy
Yes.
Kaling, the show she created, Running Point, is #1 on Netflix.
Go, Mindy.
And it's really good.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to watch it, it's got Kate Hudson in it. It's just a bit of light fluff about an LA basketball team. But I watched it just because I saw that Mindy Kaling was #1 compared to Meghan on Netflix. And I thought, oh, I'll give it a watch. And I'm already up to episode 3. It's good,
Eh,
fluffy, light watch.
It is funny though, isn't it? Because we all talk about Meghan has the reverse Midas touch, and everything that she tries to do, it always backfires on her. But you do see certain companies or people where Meghan may have, like the As Ever New York clothing company, they got sold out. And whenever Meghan does something to someone else, lots of people were very angry with the way that she spoke to Mindy over multiple things, and Mindy's
Yes.
had a lot of support. And I just think, yeah, rather than
Yeah.
being dragged down with Meghan, quite a few people have been elevated. And I would honestly watch Roy Choi if he got his own cooking program. So I hope someone
Same,
else that's
same.
listening to
And I
that,
think
he would.
also people admired Mindy Kaling because even though it was obvious they didn't get on, and even though it was obvious that, she had a dreadful time when she was there, she didn't sort of say anything. She was very professional and she's very, yeah, almost too nice, but, she was
Yeah.
professional. And I think that would go a long way in the industry. I think people
She
would
tried to
admire that.
humanize Meghan. There were so many points where she tried to get Meghan to loosen up
Yeah,
and to have a laugh, and Meghan just showed herself to just, well, as I said, she's wound up tighter than her nuts, and I think her
yeah,
mask slipped several times. She's very much, I do believe the rumors that she is a mean girl. The way that
yeah,
she was throughout that show, yeah,
yeah.
definitely. But
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
Well, thank you,
anyway,
gorgeous. Thank you for the very good chat. It was a lot of fun. And thank you to everyone that joined us. We'll see you again next week.
yes, we will do. The times will change, but as of next week, we will be fixed on the new times that we put out. We were trying to work out what works best because Shauna,
Yeah,
as you know, is in
we got a
Australia.
cyclone. We got a lot of upheaval, but we're going to go about an hour earlier, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So, guys,
All
that's
right.
it
See ya.
from both of us.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.